Hello, my name is Mark Iger, and I would like to demo an application I developed using cucumber-jvm for automation testing. What will I be testing in this for this demo? A local microservices application I developed, and also a remote application to demonstrate script setup to use test containers. This is my cucumber-jvm application. It has the typical feature files, step definitions class, and then in my case, steps classes for the individual, for the steps that are used for the different test cases. Now, in my case, I set this up differently than the typical setup. I used one step definitions class for reuse, and also in order to do that, I set up a transporter that takes a step objects record and object, and also a parameter data record as well. The step objects record consists of an instance of WebDriver, JavaScript executor, scenario, remote WebDriver, and WebDriver 8. And the parameter data record takes the parameter passed in to the steps for the test case. For example, given I navigate to this string, this is passed into the parameter data record builder. This will take a string or a list of strings. Then, once we store those objects, we pass that into a page dispatcher, and then the page dispatcher takes the details provided in the scenario method and I use the switch statement to instantiate the steps class based on one of the tag names for the feature file. And this is what a steps class would look like. Let's go to the Dragon steps. And the way this is set up, each steps class extends a base page, which has all of the WebDriver methods that I set up for reuse, and then also implements an exercise step interface. And the exercise step interface, it has all of the different names for these step definitions. For example, I am on page, I click, I fill field, I see. And those all correspond with the methods used in this step class. So click. As you can see, it takes the parameter data pojo. I use the switch statement, and it and pass in the data parameter, the parameter data pojo, and based on that value, it executes an action, a web job. It exercises, well, it executes one of the WebDriver methods based on the step in the test. So, just to give you an example of how this works, I guess the first, I think I have this set up dispatcher. We'll go up to, nope, we want the step definitions class. I've got to turn off the use is remote equals null. Nope, that's good. Okay, so we've got already got that turned off. I've got it set up where it'll use a regular WebDriver instance of WebDriver if the is remote is set to null, and if it's not, then it uses Testcontainers. So the first application we'll test is an application I developed. It's a microservices application used to record vital signs and also medications. I wanted to use that so I have it for myself, so I can record my blood pressure readings and also my medication. So when I need to go to the doctor, I can just print those details out. The next module I'll be adding is a module for providers, for my doctor, my dentist, so on and so forth. But this application consists of the latest version of it. This stack consists of the latest version of Keycloak, Spring Boot Cloud, Spring Security, and Angular. So this is the version of Angular. You can see here, like the vital signs list, service. Let's see what else we got here. Vital signs list. It's the HTML for that. Then we have the medication, which is going to be up higher. This is a form for that application. We also have I've got an edge service using Spring Cloud. It also uses Spring Security. I have a version of Keycloak up and running. It's the latest version of Keycloak, and also Redis. And the medication repository uses the latest version of Spring Boot, and also the blood pressure application uses the latest version of Spring Boot. So let's give that, let's go ahead and run the test for my microservices scripts running locally on my local machine. So we'll go ahead and do this. So it opens up Keycloak, logs the user in. I had it waited for a minute. Goes to the landing page and clicks on the button up in the top left-hand corner to open up the sidebar. So let's do something here. Dragon steps. Click. Login. Sign in. Side toggle bar. So let's do this. We click that. Okay, so I'm gonna wait here. Let's see. 1, 2, 5. We'll wait so you can see how that works. Compile that. And this is also using the latest version of Spring Boot. Well, actually, excuse me. I need to go down to my Maven file. POM file. And is using, yep, 3.4.3. Okay, so let me run that one more time. That should stop and pause before it clicks the other side. Toggle button, logs in. I can remove that pause, and as you can see, pauses, then clicks the toggle button, and you can see the navigation bar opens up. Okay, so that's that test, and this is all, this is the first, I just put something together so I could do the demo, and wanted to just give my take on, or my spin on why I think that this is an efficient way to set up a cucumber-jvm suite. And as I mentioned, you have one step definitions class, and then you have your, and typically you would have multiple step definitions class, one for each test, but instead I have it set up so that you can store and pass in your values or your methods, and use step classes so that you can use the step definitions class for reuse, and then just add your steps class for each individual test. You can reuse steps classes, but I've had better results just using the individual individual steps class, one for each test. And for in the steps class, you basically pass in all the scenario details and add switches as and then execute your WebDriver steps based on the step for the test, based on the step for the test. And one other thing I'll mention here, I set up a class to with methods that use WebDriver here, so that you have all of your you can for reuse. And basically, rather than having to write out the WebDriver scripts for each step, I set these up so that you can reuse these as needed in your steps classes. So fill filled, wait for the elements, wait for element, click, JS click, so it uses JavaScript basically, in addition to WebDriver wait, but it makes it a lot easier and makes it to me more fun developing tests. So I can come in, we have our step for the test case scenario, add whatever methods that you need to perform this step, and you're good to go. So I'll just, one more thing I wanted to demonstrate is how this application can be run using test containers. So let me go back to the step definitions. Go to is remote. Is true. And I'll need to compile this. And then we'll run the Marine Bay .com, test for marinebay.com. And this basically just does some navigation steps here. So go ahead and run this. All right, first of all, let's make sure that there aren't any videos in the target directory. We'll go ahead and run this. This is going to use test containers. I love it. Using the latest version of Chrome, I think. Chrome driver, I'm sorry. That was fast. And we can watch it here. It stores the, generates a MP4. I'll show you where that happens. Is after. So after step, it records a screenshot, and then on teardown, if I'm using test containers, it records a video, and it generates a video, and MP4 for the execution of the test. So let's see that. It's here. Finder. And then we'll see. It goes to Marine Bay, navigates to a couple of the pages, and that's it. And that concludes my video. Thank you for watching.